Welcome to Stories with Dice. This is the Sword Campaign, a Pendragon actual play podcast using the 6th edition starter set from Chaosium. If you're enjoying our actual plays, please subscribe to Stories with Dice so you'll never miss an episode. Don't forget to rate and review us. It really helps others discover the podcast. Follow us on social media to stay updated, share your thoughts, and join the conversation. You'll find the relevant links in the description of each episode. Last time on the Sword Campaign, while journeying to a council of peace in St. Albans, our Salisbury Knights freed Lady Morgan from captivity within the hollow of a giant tree, defeating its enchanted guardian, the Ivy Knight. At St. Albans, whispers of treachery spread. Sir Blaines was rumored to have hired raiders to strike at Salisbury, forcing Sir Histowin's father-in-law into complicity. Meanwhile, Lady Igraine revealed the long-guarded truth of King Arthur's parentage. He was the son of Uther Pendragon. Before the council could begin, chaos erupted. Mercenaries disguised as peasants launched a brutal assault, plunging the gathering into bloodshed and betrayal. And we're back with the Sword Campaign, episode 14. This might be the last episode. We're unsure. We'll see how it goes. But let's get to introducing our players. We have, as always, Sir Ed. We have Sir Ed playing Sir Nigel.
I like Sir Ed. I think we should keep that in forever.
Okay.
Hello.
And we have Pete playing Sir Histowin, and we have Tony playing Sir Caradoc.
Hello, Sir Caradoc. What are you talking about? Something myself?
Sir Tony, the sexy Spanish person.
That's fine.
Sir Caradoc has gone rushing into the crowd, into the chaos, to find Count Robert. Sir Histowin and Sir Nigel have been charged with protecting King Arthur and whisking him away. And Sir Brastius has commanded them to get him to Londinium, which is not too far from St. Albans, probably about a day, maybe 2 days away, I think. Now, in order for you guys to escape, the two of you will need to succeed at an evade combat action or face some combat. If one of you succeeds and the other one fails, you've both failed. That's how that's going to work. Sir Caradoc, as you are moving through the crowd, I imagine you're perhaps shouting, Count Robert, looking for him.
Yeah.
You see almost directly in your path, you see the snarling face of Sir Blaines. And he says to you, he shouts your name, Sir Caradoc, our business is far from finished. I shall make orphans of your sons, corpses of your parents, and claim your wife and your land is mine.
Will Lance give my sword, pull out my shield, and I say, it will be my pleasure to shut your mouth with my sword.
All right. So what's your combat action?
I know that he's a better fighter than me because, from 2 years ago, I got better, but I still remember that he was quite skillful. He was fast in dealing with me. So I'm gonna, for the first round, probably approach, just understanding him, trying to see, gauge a little bit how good he is, if I'm better now. So I'm going to be perhaps in a more defensive posture in a way.
Okay.
To let him come at me and see how can I counter.
Okay, so you're going to defend. So that's your weapon skill plus 10 versus your opponent's action, so versus his weapon skill. So it's your sword skill plus 10 is what you get. So make that roll for me.
Okay, my God. Partial success, okay.
Okay, so that means you can use your shield to deduct some of this damage, as well as your armor.
Yeah, so 13, so my armor is 10, my shield is 6, so I take nothing.
Yeah, so his sword just hacks against your shield, and you're holding fast, yeah. Sir Nigel and Sir Histowin, both of you give me an evade combat action. So that's your movement rate versus, I'm just going to pull up a random guy here that's in the crowd. that you're going to have to move your way through.
Any modifiers, or is it just straight move? Right.
It's just a straight move roll.
Okay. I have a move of 16, and I completely failed that. That was a 19.
Okay.
Yes, we're going to combat.
Oh, no. Okay.
We really want to fight.
Yep. All right. So
the only one I could have failed on as well.
Yep.
My move
Okay.
is 19.
Okay. So both of you give me your combat action as you face these two mercenaries.
Yeah. Okay.
And because you fumbled, Sir Histowin, I am going to say your combat action is going to suffer a -5 penalty, whatever that action is. I imagine it's attack, could be defend, it could be disarm, whatever you choose.
I think, yeah, if I'm probably be a defend, actually, if I've fumbled, but not.
Okay, so it's your weapon skill versus the opponent's weapon skill, and the defend action gives you a +10, but because you have a -5, it's going to be a +5. Go ahead and give me that.
Right.
So you have a success. He has a partial success. Okay, so give me your damage. Okay, so you guys you're sort of pushing and hacking your way through this crowd, and your sword connects on this mercenary's shoulder who's standing between you and King Arthur's life and escaping. Sir Nigel, give me your roll.
Sure. Yeah, I'm going to just straight up attack him.
Straight up attack him, okay.
A 13, I get a 7.
He rolls a 2.
Excellent. So, success for me then.
Yep, and a partial success for him.
How about 17 damage for the mercenary? Yeah, I guess I'm kind of like I've got my shield. I'm just kind of like bashing into him and just
so you're
blows.
So you're like you're sort of bashing your shield against him and then swiping him with your sword, and you connect and you draw blood.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my main aim is to we kind of want to get through rather than get stuck. So it's trying to push, but I'm guessing they're pushing back.
Exactly. Sir Caradoc, let us go again, shall we?
Yeah, can you remind me what Reckless does apart doing damage? And I cannot use a shield, right?
Yeah, so
It's just basically more damage if I get it. But
Yeah,
then
you can't use your shield, but neither can he.
Yeah, so weapon skill versus the opponent's action. Opponent is rolling a weapon skill. They receive a +5 bonus.
Okay.
Neither combatant may apply shield parry protection under any circumstances. But I think you get extra damage for it.
You do. You get
Yes,
an extra 2d6 on a
2d6,
regular success and a 6d6 on a critical.
On a critical.
So
So
since I know that he's better than me in any case, I think, I managed to parry
you give
him
an extra
first.
+5.
Yeah, I think I really don't care. And what I'm going to do now, because I'm aware that if I don't manage to get him, he's going to get me. So I'm just going to go Reckless. Can I roll for my Reckless, actually, to see if I can get an extra plus to me, or that's not possible?
Yeah, absolutely. You
Is
can
it a
roll
passion
that.
do you roll?
It's a trait. It's not a passion.
Oh, it's not a passion. No, it would need to be a passion.
Yeah. Do I have Reckless as a passion? No.
Could it be
I don't.
for the honor of your lord, I suppose, maybe?
Well, that's what I rolled before, but when I was looking for Count Robert, can I have the roll that I did before Homage, the +5 for this attack?
Yeah. I'll give
For
that
example.
to you. Yep.
Okay, because I'm trying to, this guy, I hate his guts, but he's not letting me find my lord. So in a way, I want to kill him and get on with my life. Okay, so I'm going Reckless. I cannot select Reckless on combat action, though. Okay, I guess it's normal attack. I guess.
I don't think they have the full list there. I don't think he's added that.
So I roll.
And then give yourself the +5.
Yes, I just did.
Okay.
So let's hope for a critical.
Okay.
Because then he's going to have a lot of pain. Tight success. This is amazing.
Both suffer damage minus the armor and shield parry protection value. So
the parry protection value is +3 for a sword.
Oh, but you can't use it because you're acting recklessly, aren't you? So
right. So neither one of you can use it. Okay.
So no. So you just basically damage the living daylights out of each other, but +2d6.
So I will roll what I have here, and I will add 2d6 over 25
plus.
Come on, make pain.
Oh.
+6, 31.
31. Okay.
Oh, I think he's going to give me pain. 18. So that's 8 for me.
And 31 for him. Okay.
It's a minor wound for me.
Oh,
and I hope
nice.
the 31 is nasty.
Kick his ass, Sir Caradoc. Kick his ass. For Ian.
He's knocked down.
He's knocked down. So yeah,
Sir Blaines, shut your mouth, man.
So you go at him. You did your first round with him, dancing around a little bit, sort of understanding his skill. You know that he's a better swordsman than you, and you remember how he whooped you last time 2 years ago. And so this time you study him a bit. You do that defensive move. You get your opening, and you just pummel him with your sword and shield. And you just shove him to the ground. He has suffered a major wound.
I did it to me.
Ed, can you remind me what the major wound means?
Yeah. So it means that you have to make a roll for being unconscious, I believe. I will tell you in just a second when I can find it.
You knock Sir Blaines to the ground, silencing him with a sharp command to hold his tongue. As he sprawls in the dirt with a major wound, out of the corner of your eye, you catch sight of 2 mercenaries dragging Count Robert away. His hands are bound tightly behind his back.
Can I roll for... I was thinking if I will do the coup de grace to Sir Blaines.
Okay.
I don't know how to, because I can do this kind of merciful or cruel, or is it just arbitrary thingy? What is the...
Let's see.
I guess it's more... I can roll for the decision, but I don't know which one of the 2 traits, because I'm very arbitrary. I'm not very just, but at the same time, I'm half and half between merciful and cruel. So in this case, when would a knight even do the coup de grace, take into account that I really hate the guts of this guy, and I know that he's putting into problems a Ristal win, so I think he deserves to die and be... So I don't know what would I base my decision on, my arbitrary or my cruelty?
Well, I can tell you what happens with the major wound when you're ready.
Yes. Yeah, so just an arbitrary, it doesn't sound, I'm looking at the description of the traits here. Yeah. It doesn't sound like that fits. So I think it's going to be merciful and or cruel.
Okay. So I'm going to roll to make a decision. Let's leave it to the chance. Okay. So I'm going to click on it and choose trait. Which one? Do I need to pick one? It doesn't matter. Both are the highest one.
You have to roll the highest one they're both 10.
They're both 10. So I'm going to roll for cruel.
Okay.
And if I succeed, then I will kill him.
Okay.
If I fail, then he's safe, I guess.
Yep. Safe for now. Oh! For the folks at home, Tony succeeded in rolling his cruel trait.
So when I spit on him, I say, you deserve this. And I just put the sword through the neck.
Through his neck, okay.
Through his neck, in between the helm and the thing, and I just kill him right there like a pig.
So I guess, Ed, I guess it doesn't matter whatever it is you're on, but just tell me anyway so I can remember.
So yeah, as soon as they as soon as you take a major wound, you fall unconscious, regardless of your unconsciousness rating, and then you make some rolls to determine loss to attributes and stuff like that.
Okay, but you don't always fall completely unconscious, at least not right away. I feel like I remember reading that. You can be in and out of it, perhaps even say a few words. So, Sir Blaines, let's say, isn't fully unconscious. His eyes flutter open, unfocused but aware, just enough to register Sir Caradoc standing over him. Blood pools beneath him, his breath ragged and slow. Sir Caradoc leans down, spits in his face. You deserve this fate, he snarls, his voice laced with disgust. The blade flashes, cutting clean through the flesh of Sir Blaines's neck. A strangled gasp escapes his lips as searing pain floods his senses. And then he feels his own life ebbing away, his body growing cold, the sting lingering even as the world fades into blackness.
Do you believe that's called a comeuppance?
I do believe that's called a comeuppance, yes. I didn't expect that to happen until a little later in the episode, but that's cool. Sir Histowin and Sir Nigel, give us your combat action, please. If you want to try another evade, you can, but you'll both have to succeed because you're.
I'm not evading.
Then you're forced. Then Sir Histowin, you are forced to choose another option.
Yeah, I've gained my balance. I'll make an attack. Standard attack.
Ooh, a tie. So you get a +3 to your armor and shield. So you add up your armor. So when you're deducting the damage, Pete, you deduct the armor points plus the shield points, and then 3 for your sword parry. So let's roll our damage here. We're both going to damage each other. So the mercenary, his sword bites at you for 16 damage.
Yeah, I've got with the +3 at 13, and then the kite shield is 6. So,
Ian,
cool. I'm just gonna attack as normal. Shield and sword. Got a 13. I think is a critical. So that.
Ooh, a fumble.
Ooh.
So a sword does not break on a fumble, but perhaps he drops his weapon. We'll see. What is your damage, sir?
He gets a grand total of 19 damage.
He most certainly drops his sword because you've killed him outright. Give us describe to us this moment.
I guess, yeah, so I kind of bashed him before and went to stab him. This time, he kind of goes to stab me. I kind of lure him away with my shield, and then I just come underneath the shield, and I stab straight up into his, underneath his armpit to stop part of his armor, and shove my sword in.
All right.
It's not pretty. It's just effective.
Efficient. Yes. Yeah. So he crumples to the ground, dropping his sword, and falls to his death.
Okay. I take a step back to the king, so that I'm back in his guard, I suppose. Yeah.
Sir Caradoc, so you've just ended Sir Blaines' life. You saw 2 of these mercenaries dragging Count Robert into the woods. If you're scanning the chaos around you, you see Sir Nigel has just killed a man, just killed a mercenary. Sir Histowin is fighting another, and they're protecting King Arthur as they're trying to get him to safety. What do you do?
I go after Count Robert, of course.
Okay. Give me a move roll.
1 success.
Okay, yeah. So you've caught up with these guys. They haven't gotten very far because Count Robert is putting up quite a struggle. They're just a few paces into the woods outside of the area where the melee is taking place.
I will look at them and I look, release my lord or face the consequences. You see what I did behind. I just killed Sir Blaines, one of the most dangerous knights in this country. Now you will be next. I don't know if I can intimidate them, but that's what I try.
Give me an orate roll and give yourself a +10.
So, success.
Okay, yeah. So they look over your shoulder and they see Sir Blaines.
And I show my bloody sword.
Yeah, and so they look, and I used orate because it seemed on the fly the quickest thing for trying to intimidate someone since there's no intimidate skill. I'm sure that was incorrect, but that's okay. So they look at that, and then they look at one another, and let me roll their valorous. That's what I will do. I will give them a negative.
20. Oh my God.
They push Count Robert at you, and then they just run into the woods.
Amazing.
I'm going to roll today.
You are.
Will untie my lord. I say, are you okay, my lord?
Yes, I'm fine. Where's the king?
He's been protected by Sir Nigel and Sir Histowin, but we should join them and protect our king.
Yes, agreed. Let us go. So you make your way through the mob of people that are fighting, and Arthur's men and others that are loyal to him that were there. They're all fighting against these mercenaries. You don't see Merlin. You don't see Sir Kay, though it is very difficult to pick people out in the chaos of the fight. But Lady Igraine and Lady Morgan and a lot of the commoners and the women and the children have fled to safety, or so you assume. You reach Sir Histowyn and Sir Nigel and King Arthur, they've just dispatched 2 mercenaries. I can't remember if Sir Histowyn dispatched his or not. I do not think so.
No.
Okay. As you are approaching, Sir Histowyn is making a swing. So let's do this last mercenary here and see what happens to him. So you have a success and he has a partial success.
And 11.
Bashing the shit out of this mercenary.
So you blow, cuts him across his chest. He falls to the ground unconscious. And then you hear Sir Brastias, who's nearby, fighting off several mercenaries with a few other of Arthur's men, say, "Get him out of here!" So you're cut off from where your horses are being stabled. So you go on foot and into the woods, and you come upon what used to be a Roman road. It's a little more than a overgrown game trail. And you start making your way south to Londinium. And Arthur says, "But what of Lady Igraine? We can't leave her." And he's turning around and he's looking behind him. And where is Merlin? And you can hear the clash of steel and all the sounds of battle behind you start to ebb away the deeper you go into the woods.
Sorry, my king. I grab him by the shoulder and pull him.
Very important that you are not taken by these mercenaries. We need to take you to safety. I'm sure that they are after you. If we are away from here, nobody else will be in danger.
My council of peace. These fools, all they know how to do is hack and maim and kill.
Sorry, my king. We need to get off the road. And I'll pull him into the trees and the bushes. But we'll carry parallel to the road, but off the road.
Okay, so you move swiftly to the woods, parallel to that ancient road, long reclaimed by nature. The clash of battle fades into a distant echo, and soon even that gets swallowed up by the forest. You're unsure how much time has passed as you press south, deeper into the woods. Eventually, the overgrown road you've been following intersects with a well-traveled road at a crossroads where a weathered pavilion stands near the ruins of a crumbling Roman fountain. Moss creeps over its stones. Beyond it, through a break in the trees, you glimpse a lake. Thin tendrils of mist drift across its glassy surface. Beside the pavilion, you see Sir Kay, wounded on a makeshift pallet, his squire kneeling beside him, tending to his injuries. Sir Kay's armor is dented and bloodied, his sword broken on the ground beside him. Merlin sits on a nearby stone, lost in thought. Huddled close to the druid are a group of commoners from St. Albans, weary and fearful. As you approach, Merlin turns around and says, "Ah, you found us."
Yes, here is the king. He says, I walk towards them.
We're not expecting to find you here.
"Beware," Sir Kay warns. His voice is hoarse and strained. "This strange knight," and he's pointing down the road, "is bound by some enchantment. None have bested him." And the king shoves the two of you aside and he steps forward. And he looks at this knight. The knight is clad in black armor. He's got a black cloak and sword and shield. And the king demands that he step aside. So he's now stepped onto the road. And the Black Knight says, "I cannot. I am bound to fight anyone who comes this way."
King, let me do this. Shouldn't be fighting.
He puts his hand up and holds you back, and he says, "You have done enough fighting for me this day. This is the king's road, and this man will yield to me, or he will taste my blade."
If I remember correctly, King Arthur wasn't particularly great at fighting from the battles that we've seen him in.
So what do you guys want to do?
Well, King has given us an order, so I'm going to stand back.
Yeah, but I stay, vigilant. And next with, my sword at the ready.
Okay, so Arthur draws Excalibur. He raises his shield. He moves toward the Sable Knight. The two meet in a clash of steel, the sound of their blades ringing through the air. The fight is fierce, but swift. The sting of betrayal at St. Albans clouds Arthur's mind. The Sable Knight exploits every mistake and with a crushing blow sends the young king crashing to the ground. So, Caradoc, you're reminded of your first battle with Sir Blaines, how quickly a fight can turn against you, and the bitter sting of defeat. "Do you yield, sir?" the Sable Knight asks. "This is the king's road," Arthur says. He stands up, sword in hand. "And I am the king." He strikes a powerful blow against the Sable Knight's shield. The Sable Knight retaliates with a series of ferocious blows. Arthur drops his shield, stumbling to his knees. The Sable Knight asks again for Arthur to yield, but Arthur grips Excalibur with both hands now and swings one last mighty blow, cleaving through the Sable Knight's shield in a blinding flash of light and force. The sheer power of the strike flings both of them and all of you several feet backward. You crash to the ground, the wind knocked out of you. And as you sit up, your eyes fall on Arthur. In his hand, he holds Excalibur, but only half of it, the blade broken cleanly in two. He cries, "Merlin! Merlin, what have I done?" "You have broken that which is unbreakable," Merlin says. The group of commoners who have been watching this whole time gasp in horror. "My pride broke it," Arthur says. "My anger. Even kings are not immune from the humiliation of defeat. This knight, cursed though he may be, to fight all who cross his path, fought with honor and skill. He bested me fairly. It was meant to be my fate to lose this contest. But with Excalibur's power, I tried to change that fate." Arthur gets up, throwing the broken pieces of Excalibur into the lake. "I've failed. The sword was meant to bring men together, to serve the cause of justice, not the pride of one man." "Forgive me," the Sable Knight says, "but you did not yield, and I am now compelled to complete this dread task." He rises, sword in hand, but before any of you can intervene, Merlin speaks. "Enough," says the druid. "The spell is broken." The Sable Knight drops his sword. Merlin lifts the visor on his helm. "You are Pellinore, king of Gomerith in Cambria. You have been absent from your throne for many years." Merlin taps the man's forehead and says, "Remember who you are." And Pellinore comes back to himself as if he had just woken from a bad dream. Now, Sir Nigel, your gaze is drawn to the still surface of the lake. Beneath the water, you see a maiden in a flowing gown, her long blonde hair spreading out around her head like a halo, and in her hands she holds Excalibur, its blade reforged, gleaming, and whole once more.
I'll point towards the lake and go, "The sword. The lady has the sword." I keep pointing at it.
Everyone turns to look, and at the center of the lake, a hand rises from out of the water, holding aloft the gleaming blade of Excalibur. And Merlin says, "The lady in the lake, quickly, to the boat." You hadn't noticed it before, but now you see there's a small boat on the shore of that mist-shrouded lake. You scramble to it, untying it from the post. It has no oars, no mast, no sail. Yet, as soon as the three of you, along with Arthur and Merlin, get into the boat, it begins to drift across the water, propelled by some unseen force. Arthur gazes at the lady with awe and asks if he may take the sword, and she says, "I grant it, O king, but in time I will ask for a gift in return." And Arthur says, "I accept." Then he reaches out and takes the sword from her outstretched hand. And as he does, the maiden's form shimmers and vanishes, and the boat brings you back toward the shore. What do you do?
I'm probably quite shocked and sort of overawed with what's happened. So I don't really say very much.
So, Sir Caradog is also in awe. And have we reached the shore already?
Yeah.
So I will go on my knee and I will
Okay.
say, my king, this has shown me that you are the rightful king of this country. You are able to do miracles that no other has done before. Please, I plead fealty to you, and I go on my knee, I bend my head, and I wait for him.
Okay. So Histolin.
Aye, sire, we have all failed in our tasks in the past and have been lucky enough to take a second chance to improve things. I see you have also been granted such a chance, and I will follow you, for I believe our goal is justified and righteous and will be done.
I will not take this faith that you have in me lightly, my friends. And Tony, roll 2d6 and add that to your loyalty king passion. And the same with you, Sir Histolin.
It's a 5.
So that makes your loyalty 10, I believe.
No, I have 7. So plus 5.
12. 12. Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Yep. What did you get, Sir Histolin?
I got 7, so
You got
that's
7 as
yeah,
well.
get up to
Okay.
14.
Wow, okay. I'll change that for you.
Yep.
Sorry, Nigel.
Sorry?
Unless, at the last moment you see your two comrades' action and it inspires you to do the same.
No, I think that I'm very proud. Proud is like one of my big things. So I think that he's still my king, which is fine. But I think I probably have...
He's my king. It's fine, whatever.
It's fine, whatever. Yeah, he's my king, but I obviously I've already sworn fealty to him once. So, and I think I'm probably overawed more than anything. So I don't really have the sort of like the thought process to do and say everything that's said.
Okay. As all of this is happening, you see Sir Brastius step out of the woods with some of his men. The commoners rush to him, eager to tell the story of how Excalibur had been broken and reforged by the lady in the lake. Sir Brastius tries to listen, but his eyes are scanning the area for the king. And when he spots all of you, he moves swiftly to the shore. Your Majesty, he calls out, the fighting at St. Albans has ended. We've captured a few prisoners and driven off the rest of the mercenaries. Turns out they were hired by King Lot. We still don't know what role Sir Blaines played in all of this. His lord, the Duke, swears. King Arthur puts his hand up. I've heard enough. The mention of King Lot and the possibility of Sir Blaines' treachery lands like a heavy blow on Arthur. He stands for a moment, thinking it over, and then he says, we must return to make do with what counsel we have left. And with that, you form an honor guard to escort King Arthur back to St. Albans. When you arrive, the tale of the sword and the lady in the lake spreads quickly to the people gathered there. The priests declare that the reforged sword is a sign of Arthur's divine right to rule, while others claim it marks him as the Shining One, foretold by the Druids of old to save the land in its time of need. Lady Igraine embraces her son, overjoyed to see him safe. Lady Morgan kneels before King Arthur and expresses her relief that her brother, the king, has returned unharmed. And the crowd hails Arthur as the Pendragon, heir of Uther and Aurelius. He brandishes Excalibur aloft, and their cheers fill the air. And in the distance, a raven caws, its echo carrying across the square. So that concludes our version of the Sword Campaign, the 3-part adventure in the 6th edition starter set. But wait, you say, what about the winter phase, and what happens when our Salisbury Knights return home? Did Sir Blaines really orchestrate an attack on Salisbury while the Council of Peace was convening at St. Albans? You'll have to find out when we return for Season 2. What I can say for certain is that Sir Histolwin's father-in-law did not survive St. Albans. Now, before we close, I want to take a moment to reflect on a missed opportunity that I regret. At the end of our last episode, Sir Histolwyn witnessed Sir Blaines stab his father-in-law, a pivotal moment I did not follow up on properly. In hindsight, this should have been a critical decision point for Sir Histolwyn at the start of our final episode, given his conflicting passions. With love of family at 16 and loyalty to the king at 7, I should have paused to ask him how he would react, weighing his duty to protect King Arthur against his duty to his family. The tension between these values was an important dynamic that deserved attention. Unfortunately, I let the flow of events overshadow that moment, and we missed a valuable opportunity for roleplay and character exploration. With that said, your Pendragon may vary. This has been ours.